In module 2 of electromagnetic waves, we will learn the Gauss law and its applications, the Gauss divergence theorem, energy potential and conductors, current density. So these are the topics to be covered in the module 2. So in today's session, we will move on to we will discuss about the Gauss law and the two different applications of the Gauss law, that will be for a electric field due to a point charge and a electric field due to a long conductor carrying or the infinitely long conductor. So first let us define the Gauss law. So the Gauss law, Gauss is the name of the scientist, so it has been called as the Carl Friedrich Gauss. So it will be, that's why the name has been given it as simply a Gauss law. Now what is mainly the Gauss law? So Gauss law, which is also called as the first Maxwell's equation, and here this Gauss law gives the relationship between the electric flux and the charge. So now what is this electric flux? So electric flux, which is nothing but the electric field. When we link this electric field with the area, this is known as the electric flux. So when the flux is linked with the closed surface, depends upon the charge inside that closed surface. So now the electric charge, which is responsible for the electric field. So now these two are, the electric field and the electric charge are interconnected. So they have a relationship. Without the charge, electric charge, there is no electric field. So hence the how this electric field is generated, how this electric field is created due to this charge. So now from the Coulomb's law, we have the expression that is Q by R square. So it is a long process to calculate the electric field, because the R values will going to be it's a range of So it's a different we will going to have different values of the R. Hence it has been, so we will going to calculate the electric field in a simpler manner by using this law, that is called as the Gauss law. Now so in the for the Gauss law, the statement of the Gauss law, so we can call this as the electric flux linked to a closed surface. Electric flux linked to a closed surface kept in the electric field is 1 upon epsilon naught times the charge q enclosed in the surface. So this is the statement of the Gauss law. So here, for to apply Gauss law, the charge has to be enclosed by a surface. So it is supposed to be in a surface, enclosed surface. The charge has to be in an enclosed surface. So then we need to apply this. We can apply the Gauss law and we can calculate the electric field. So now the so that will be uh, the statement can be given in many ways. So this is one of the simplest way. So here that will be going to be the total electric flux through any closed surface, which is equal to the total charge enclosed by that surface upon the epsilon naught. Now what is this epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. So permittivity of a free space, the value of that epsilon naught is given by, so 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12. That will be the value of epsilon naught, which is the relative permittivity in the free space. So in general, this electric flux can be given as, so now in the Gauss law we are calling it as the field. So the electric flux in general, this can be given by the expression, the electric flux is equal to q, that is psi. So here the psi is equal to q upon epsilon naught, and here in the general form, that is the electric flux, that is psi, which is equal to the closed integral of E into ds cos theta. So, what is this ds? ds is the small area, the area considered inside the closed surface. So, integral for closed surface is equal to E into ds cos theta. So, now what is theta? Theta is the angle between the area vector and the electric field. So, now ds is the very small surface area considered and E is the electric field. So, psi or electric flux is equal to the, this is the general expression, closed integral of the electric field into ds cos theta. Now, for this closed integral, so in general, so for all the applications we will going to make use of this closed integral of E into ds is equal to, because when the whenever the small surface area ds and the electric field are normal, so when these two are normal, theta value will going to be 0. So that is called the symmetry, so that we will discuss later. So theta and ds are normal, ds and E are normal, then the value of theta will going to be the 0. When theta will going to be 0, cos 0 is 1. So hence the closed integral of E into ds is equal to q upon epsilon naught, means I have substituted for psi value. If I substitute for psi, psi is equal to q upon epsilon naught. Q upon epsilon naught is equal to psi closed integral of E into ds cos theta. So, psi will be replaced by q epsilon naught. So, now my q upon epsilon naught is equal to psi into E ds. So, which is nothing but, that is closed integral of E ds into E ds is equal to q upon epsilon naught. So, this is the expression of the Gauss theorem used for all applications. Now, so up to here we have studied the expression. What is the expression for the Gauss theorem? So, in general form it is different, but we used to apply it like this. So, that is closed integral of E into ds is equal to q upon epsilon naught, or even I can call it as closed integral of E into ds cos theta is equal to q upon epsilon naught. So, now to apply this, so to apply this Gauss theorem for any applications. So, we will be using this for many applications. So, the applications may be for in the point charge, in the point form, or it will be in the for a sphere or for a long conductor. So, we will apply. So, we will apply this Gauss theorem for finding the electric field for different charge distributions. What are the different charge distributions? The different charge distributions may be for a point charge, maybe for a line of charge, and for a sheet of charge and a sphere of charge. So, that these are the different charge distributions. So, we can apply this Gauss theorem to calculate the electric field for any of this. So, now to begin with, so let us start for the, let us calculate the electric field for a point charge, one of the charge distribution. So, that will be the for the point charge. Now, before calculating this electric field, so there are certain strategies, or there are certain certain steps, certain rules to apply to calculate the electric field using the Gauss law. So, for to apply Gauss law, so we need to consider the important points. They are, so the charge has to be enclosed in a surface. So, to select to apply the Gauss law, we need to select a Gaussian surface with the symmetry that matches the charge distribution. What do you mean by that symmetry? Whenever I will going to consider the a point P on any point on the surface of this Gaussian, the distance from the charge to the point has to be same. So, has to be similar. So, that is called the symmetry. So, select a Gaussian surface with symmetry that matches the charge distribution, and we need to draw the Gaussian surface so that the electric field is either constant, means it is also the electric field so has to be symmetrical. So it is supposed to be constant over if I consider any point on the surface, any point on the surface E is supposed to be symmetrical and R is also symmetrical. What is R? The distance between the charge and the point P which I have considered on the surface. So now use symmetry to determine the direction of E on the Gaussian surface, and then we will going to calculate the electric flux or the electric field. So and then determine the charge inside the Gaussian surface. So how much the charge? So for a point charge, so we need to we need not to worry much. So it is just a simple Q, but for a long conductor, for a sheet of conductor, there will be many charges. So how do we consider that? So that is different. It is depending upon the charge distribution, the how the charge has been distributed. So the total charges inside the Gaussian surface, then we need to calculate the electric field. So then with these, so here the word symmetry is very simple, that is the, so from all the points on the surface to the charge it is same. So these are the points to be considered. So for when we go for applying the Gauss law, so I will repeat once again, the different steps are, so it is supposed to be closed from all the sides. We need to first is we need to consider a Gaussian surface. How that Gaussian surface supposed to be? So what are the properties of the Gaussian surface? So they are, it is closed from all the sides, means the inside that there will be a charge, and electric field at every point is symmetrical, and theta at every point is also symmetrical. So with these points, so we need to keep in mind when we go for applying the Gauss law. So with these strategies for the Gauss law, applying Gauss law, so let us move on to the one of the application, that is electric field due to a point charge. So now we need to calculate the electric field, that is calculate the capital E. So by applying the Gauss law, so for a point charge, so there is a unique charge Q. So there is a unique charge Q which is at a distance of r. So which is at a distance of r. So what is that r? R is the distance. Now so before we begin, so let us, we have a, so the diagram has to be written like this. First there is a charge Q. So now I have a point P, I have a point P at a distance r, at a distance r. So now what is the electric field intensity at point P, which is at a distance of r from the charge Q? Now to calculate this electric field intensity, to apply the Gauss law, so we need to be the charge has to be inside the closed surface. So that is why I have written a sphere. So why I have considered a sphere? Because sphere follows the rule of symmetry. So means from any point, from any point on the surface from the charge Q, it is the distance r is same. You can choose any point on the surface of the sphere, so it is same. So that is why it is called as the symmetry, and that is why we have chosen a sphere. And so now what is the ds? Ds is the small area, so small area which has been considered. So this ds, that is called as the it is also called as the area vector. This area vector ds and the area vector ds and the electric field are normal. So when these two are normal, the value of theta will going to be 0. So hence, so E and ds are normal. So what is E? So E is the electric field. So from the charge Q, which is pointing out, which is traveling in all the directions from the charge Q because of the charge Q. So just we are calculating the electric field at only one point, that is point P. So E and ds are normal. Theta, my theta value will going to be 0. So this is the very first step we supposed to make when we calculate the electric field due to a point charge by applying the Gauss law, Gauss theorem. So next point will going to be the, So I have written the explanation of this, whatever I have discussed. So we have to construct a Gaussian surface enclosing the charge. For this example, choose for our Gaussian surface a sphere or radius of r with the point charge at the center. Symmetry tells us that the field is constant on the Gaussian surface. Since the charge is positive charge, the field is radial outward and everywhere perpendicular to the Gaussian surface. So that will going to be it is radially moving out from the charge q. So then, so as I said, there are 4 different steps. We need to remember these 4 different steps when we apply for the when we apply the Gauss law for the calculation of the electric field. The very first step is that, so E at, so the when we consider we need to consider a Gaussian surface and closed from all the sides, and that E value will going to be symmetrical and theta is also symmetrical at every point. And since this E and ds are normal, my theta value will area vector, that is area vector is ds and E is normal, my theta value will going to be 0. Next step, the second step, what is this step 2? Step 2 is the calculation of the closed integral of the, so basically what we need to first we need to aware of the Gaussian expression. What is that Gaussian general formula, general explanation? Closed integral of the E ds cos theta is equal to q upon epsilon naught. Now first let us calculate the left hand side. What is that left hand side? Closed integral of the E ds cos theta, and on the right hand side we need to calculate what is that q value. Then finally we will apply, we will substitute for this. So in the second step we need to calculate the closed integral of the E ds cos theta. Now this E ds cos theta, since the electric field is symmetry, electric field is constant, so I can take it out. So E into closed integral of the ds. So now what is the ds? Ds is the ds value will going to be the 4 pi r square, the complete surface of the sphere, that is 4 pi r square. So now E is a constant, I have taken out the integral of the ds, the complete surface area, so which will going to be the 4 pi r square. So that 4 pi r square I will substitute for ds. So integral, and theta value will going to be 0. So when theta value is going to be 0, cos 0 is equal to 1. Now I have left out with the closed integral of E into ds is equal to E into 4 pi r square. So now this is for the in the left hand side of the general expression. So moving on to the step 3, what is on the right hand side? It is q upon epsilon naught. What is the value of q? I have only one point charge q. The charge present inside the closed surface is q. So the charge present inside the closed surface is simple q. So it is nothing but a q only. So that is I need not to worry much about this q. It is just a q only. So at the last and the final step will be applying this Gauss theorem. So applying Gauss theorem, that is, what is this Gauss theorem? Closed integral of E ds cos theta, or simply because theta is 0, it is closed integral of E ds is equal to q upon epsilon naught. What is my closed integral of E ds? It is E into 4 pi r square, so which is equal to q upon epsilon naught. So E into 4 pi r square, q is nothing but q only, so I have substituted for q upon 4 epsilon naught. What I want to calculate the electric field. So electric field E is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into q by r square, or E is equal to 1 by 4 pi r square into q upon epsilon naught, or in other words we can write it as E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q by r square. So this is the expression for the electric field due to a point charge. So due to a point charge calculation by using the Gauss theorem. So this is one of the application. So now, so let us move on to the another application. So what is the another application? So instead of having a point charge, let us have a long conductor. So long conductor which is long in the sense infinitely long. So now what is the electric field? So due to this charged long conductor, when I consider a point P on the at a distance, some say some r or at a distance of some value. So with this distance, what is the electric field? So we need to calculate. So or also it is also called as a charged wire, or even it is also called as a for a long conductor, infinitely charged long conductor. So you can look into the diagram. So this is the second application. So you can look into the diagram. In the diagram we can see. So let us first, so though it is ready the diagram, so you need to write in such a way that there will be a only the red symbol you can see, no, the red line. The red line will going to be the conductor. So that red line conductor which has got the charge q, so plus charge q, it is not a single charge, the charge has been displayed throughout the conductor. So for this charge, now in the earlier case there is only a one point charge. Now here it is not a point charge, it is the charges are many on the throughout the conductor. So for this type of charge, so how to calculate the electric field? So now let us follow the rules. Let us follow the different steps of the Gauss law and let us calculate the value of capital E. So very first is we need to, so now we have, let us consider a point P. So a point P at a distance of say some r, small r. So what is the electric field at this point P due to this long charged long conductor carrying the having the charges. Now to apply, to calculate this electric field, we need to have the first step will be the point charge has to be closed, it has to be closed from all the sides. So when we go for closing of this, how do I close? So I have to go for a such a structure which will going to have the symmetry. So it has to have the symmetry, it has to follow the symmetry property. So which means that from the point charge to the from the point to the charge q, it is at a same distances when you consider anywhere. So that is called the symmetry. So for this symmetry, I cannot consider a sphere. So if I consider a sphere like this, so it will going to be, the distance will going to be vary, it will going to be vary in this long conductor. For this point it is different, so now I cannot conduct a square. So square means from here to here it is different, from here to here it is different, from here to here it is different. So I cannot consider a either a sphere or a square. I have to consider a shape in such a way that it satisfies the symmetry property. To have that property, I have to consider a one second, I have to consider a cylinder. See, if I consider a cylinder, see, this is a, I have to consider a cylindrical structure. So if that is the case, I can apply the symmetry rule. See, if this is a long conductor carrying, see, it is the radial out. See, electric flux are out from this point, from this point. See, from when I consider this, so from all the directions, see, it is from this as in the center of the conductor, and from this charge to this distance, it will going to be the same. See, it will going to be the same. If I consider anywhere here, it will going to be the same. So that is why the and area vector will going to be like this. See, this is the area vector. Vector will going to be like this. Area vector and the electric fields are normal. Area vector and this will going to be the normal. So since these two are normal, and so I can apply the Gauss law. Otherwise, see, if it is a square like this, see, the it is not symmetry. From the point it is different, from here it is different, from here it is different. So I cannot apply like this. I cannot apply like any other structure. So I can apply only the cylindrical form. So if I apply this cylindrical form, so I can use this cylindrical form to apply the Gauss law. So now with this structure, so I will going to follow the steps to calculate the electric field. And if I consider this cylinder, now there are three different shapes, that is the curved shape. This is the curved shape. On the top it is flat and on the bottom it is flat. So two flats and one curved shape. Now I have to see this for this the what is the charge. So I have to define the charge will going to be throughout the conductor. I will define in such a way that what is the, it is infinite, but I have to consider in such a way that lambda will going to be the charge per unit area. Lambda will be the charge per unit area. Lambda is also called as a linear charge density. So sometimes it can be replaced with rho. So here I have used it as the lambda. So lambda will going to be the linear charge density. And now for the flat surface at every point, the value will going to be, for the flat surface the value will going to be theta will going to be 90 degree, because for the flat surface the area vector is perpendicular and the electric fields are in this direction. So that is why theta is equal to 90 degree, cos 90 degree is equal to 0. Whereas for the curved shape, the area vector ds and the electric fields are normal, my theta value will going to be 0. So the theta value will going to be 0, and the normal vector, the ds and electric field are normal. So with this, so let us apply the steps. The now first step will going to be, I have considered a point P and my charge, the long conductor carrying charge has been enclosed with a surface, Gaussian surface. So now E at every point on the curved surface is symmetry, and theta at every point E is symmetry. Electric field E is also symmetry. Since these two are symmetry and these two are normal, theta value will going to be 0. And for the flat surfaces, ds and electric field are 90 degree, theta value will going to be 90 degree. So now there are I don't have only one closed surface. The closed surface is going to be partitioned into three. One is the curved shape, another one is the flat in the top, and another one is the flat on the bottom. So now to get the electric field intensity, I have to add up these three. So which are those? The electric field due to the curved shape, electric field due to the top, electric field due to the bottom. So now to calculate the electric field due to the top, bottom and the curved, so then we will going to add up. So for the top, it will going to be, because what is the general expression? General expression is the closed integral of E ds cos theta. So closed integral of E ds cos theta is equal to q upon epsilon naught. Let us see the left hand side, that is closed integral of E ds cos theta. So now the closed integral of, see I have written here, so this is the explanation, and these are the points. So now for the closed integral of the closed integral of this E into ds can be partitioned into closed integral of the curved E ds cos theta and closed integral of the E ds cos theta for the top, for the bottom E ds cos theta. Since the what is for the top, it is the theta value is 90 degree. What is for the bottom? Theta value is 90 degree. Hence my the for the integral of the closed integral of the top and the bottom, I will going to get it as 0. I left out with the closed integral of E ds is equal to closed integral of the curved shape, that is E ds cos theta. What is theta? Theta is equal to 0, cos 0 is equal to 1. Now I left out with the E ds. So now for this what is the left hand what is this left hand part? Closed integral of the E ds is equal to integral of E into ds. Now electric field is constant, electric field is symmetry. So now I can remove that E, and I have to integrate only ds. What is the value of ds for the for this shape, for the cylinder shape? The the integral value will going to be 2 pi r. So integral value will going to be 2 pi r, and what is the length? It is L. So closed integral of EDS is equal to E into 2 pi RL. So now I have, for the closed integral of EDS cos theta, it can be replaced with the E into 2 pi RL. So this is all from the left hand side. Moving on to the right hand side, what is charge Q? Q I can have, I know what is that, the lambda is the linear charge intensity per coulombs per meter. So now what is Q? The total charge is equal to lambda into what is the length. So lambda into L. So now my Q is equal to lambda into L. So now apply Gauss theorem. What is the Gauss theorem? Closed integral of EDS is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. What is closed integral of EDS? What is closed integral of EDS? E into 2 pi RL. What is the value of Q? It is lambda into L divided by epsilon naught. So now I have left out with, so E into 2 pi RL is equal to lambda into L divided by epsilon naught, and L will get cancelled. My electric field intensity, electric field is equal to lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught into R. So here this can be vector in the vector form. It can be represented as, so electric field is equal to lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught r into a unit vector. So that is multiplied by the unit vector, where lambda is the charge density of conductor. So this is the electric field for a long, infinitely long conductor, so having the charge Q. So for this we have applied the Gauss law and we have calculated the electric field. So in today's class we have discussed what do you mean by Gauss theorem, what are the what are the expressions for the Gauss theorem, and the two different applications of the Gauss theorem. One is the electric field due to a point charge, and the electric field due to a infinitely long conductor carrying the charge. So these are the two applications and the Gauss law discussed today. Okay, thank you.